85. Steph Curry hits some insane shots. 31 points. Jimmy with 25. Alperen Sengun was really the biggest offensive piece for the Rockets. 26 points. Jalen Green, he's got to play better in this one because he did not deliver when they needed him to the most. And with that, we bring in CBS Sports NBA insider Bill Ryder. And Bill, first off, let me just say, I love that these two teams do not like each other. We see it on the court. They're going back and forth. But it's also refreshing that we got a close game where the Warriors, they were up 23 at one point, as we know, and then they started to play with their food. But in the end, that championship pedigree, that experience, I feel like is the reason why they were able to pull away from the Rockets down the stretch.
Yeah, mess around and find out doesn't apply when you have Steph Curry. You can mess around and still not find out because Steph was, you noted, some of the acrobatic circus shots. I was trying to get Chris to elevate Steph on the all-time list to absurd places, but he's an absurd talent. It's such a disappointment for the Rockets because they dominated rebounding. They dominated offensive rebounding. They made that comeback from down 23. They're on their home court, and they wanted to make a statement that they belong in the conversation of teams take seriously in the first round. You get beat on your home floor against a Warriors team that's favored in Vegas, even though they're the 7th seed in the 2-7 matchup, at least for one game. I know there's a long series to go. It is hard to take Houston seriously the way they want to be taken based on that performance tonight.
But you have to take Jimmy Butler seriously, right?
Man.
I mean, his addition to the team has been so transformative. What did you see from him? Because I know he wasn't as aggressive as you would have liked in the fourth quarter, but he did have some huge shots down late.
Credit to my colleague here, though, because you said, no, he's feeling the game out. He's going to make it work, and they had 2 huge buckets at the end. Look, had a great night, was an impact player, was great defensively, played a ton of minutes, and this is something they kept bringing up on the broadcast, and you're going to hear it not just throughout this series, I think going forward, because I think the Warriors are going to probably move forward. This is a team, this is a Warriors squad that have the best defense in the NBA since Jimmy Butler came into the mix. And fun fact, of their 4 championships, the Warriors have never won the whole thing without being a top 10 defense. And so his arrival on the defensive end, and we saw that in this game, and then the offensive contribution throughout the game, a little quiet throughout part of the fourth quarter, then really got some critical buckets to put away at the end, is a reminder that playoff Jimmy is real. That was real back when he was a member of the Miami Heat, and they maybe weren't the same kind of team as this Warriors squad. You couple Jimmy buckets with Steph Curry and that Warriors defense. This is a very good basketball team right now.
They are definitely going to be fun to watch no matter how long this series goes. Now, when you look at the Rockets, okay, Sengun leads the way. As great of a defensive team as they are, right, and as great of a rebounding team as they are, they struggle when it comes to scoring points, whether it's finishing or just making tough shots. Jalen Green held the single digits. How much more do they need from him going forward?
They need a ton more. I'm gonna get real critical here. I'm gonna say something nice about the Rockets in advance. They're ahead of schedule. They weren't supposed to be the 2 seed this year. And what Rafael Stone, the GM, and Ime Udoka, the head coach, and this young core has put together, it's really impressive for the future. But by the standards of now, you're the 2 seed, you're supposed to advance, you're supposed to compete. You're right, Chris, they're not good offensively. They shot below 40% from the field, just over 20% from the three-point line. They barely made half of their free throws. It's amazing they dominated the offensive rebounding. They dominated 22-6. They were the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA this year. But again, as my colleague noted during the game while we were watching it, it doesn't matter if you get 2, 3, 5 chances. If you can't put them away, they have to go out there and they have to bring the same intensity, the same defensive effort, the same rebounding effort. And then you're right, other guys other than Sengun have to step up. I'd love to see Green do it. I'd love to see Amen Thompson do it. Fred VanVleet was awful throughout the game, was 1 of 10 when he hit a big 3. He's a veteran that's got to at least be more efficient. They need, and it's been a problem all year. I know this is part of the deal. They're not very good offensively. They're great at everything else. You want to beat a Warriors team that's the best defense since Jimmy Butler came into the mix and a top 10 offense over that same stretch. You got to be good on both sides of the ball if you're Houston.
Right, so you got to be good on both sides of the ball. And as we look ahead to Game 2, what's one area that you really want the Rockets to focus on if they want to tie things up and avoid going down 0-2?
So there's so many, but I'll focus on an easy one. Make your free throws. Because you do have a size and a height and athletic advantage over this Warriors team, and it certainly showcases itself in that rebounding advantage we're talking about. It also means that you're going to get to the free throw line a lot. This is a bigger, more physical, more athletic team, the Rockets, than the Warriors. They're bigger, more athletic, and more physical than almost everyone they're going to play in the NBA, including this Western Conference playoffs, if they can advance. So you're going to get to the free throw line. You're going to be banging in the paint. You're going to get chances at free buckets. And against this Warriors squad, you got to take advantage of that. 55% from the free throw line is not going to cut it if you want to compete in this series.
Yeah, the Rockets, or the Warriors, I should say, 4-0 all-time against the Rockets in playoff series, and they're one step closer to making it 5-0. Bill Ryder always undefeated. 24-9, Tyler Hero, 21. And look at Darius Garland. We didn't even show him. 27 points, the double-double for Jared Allen. Time now to bring in CBS Sports NBA insider Bill Ryder. And Bill, this was a game that, had some moments where Cleveland was tested, and we talked about it in the green room. Maybe this is a good measuring stick for them, just so they're not, caught off guard in the later rounds. But what did you really like from Ty Jerome, who had a career game?
Yeah, the fact that he was the best offensive player if you put him on the Miami Heat. I mean, there were 3 guys for Cleveland, Jerome among them, who were better offensively than anything the Heat could muster, and that's the problem for Miami. They've been poor all year offensively. And this Cleveland team, if you haven't been paying attention, if maybe they're not a big enough name for you, this is as deep a team and as well coached a team, especially on offense, as any in the NBA. And Ty Jerome is just one of many guys that over the course of this series and this postseason run, the Cavs expect to step up and make huge contributions. We talk about Boston all the time in the sense that if those guys, their stars, their 2 big names, don't have the best of nights, they know there's other guys to back them up. That's true in Cleveland, too, and Miami got a full taste of that tonight.
Yeah, definitely didn't like it for Eric Spoelstra's squad. Now, when you talk about the Cavaliers' offense, 121 points, right? Last season, their offense wasn't this elite. And a big reason why they have a change is Kenny Atkinson. So what have you seen? Because this is essentially, Bill, the same roster, and they play much different ball. So what have you seen from them that's allowed them to be in this position and get game 1 against the Heat?
You know what he's done? He has made, this is something that happens a lot in soccer, so if you watch our Galazzo channel, you'll be familiar with this. He has taken guys and gotten individual excellence and higher levels out of almost every player on that roster. Evan Mobley, markedly better player. Donovan Mitchell, always been a star, but was willing to take a bit of a back seat, facilitate more, have fewer touches, have fewer shots per game. And maybe the biggest recipient of Kenny Atkinson's effect in this respect is a guy named Darius Garland. And we always knew he was talented. We knew he was capable. He is as good as anybody on the floor a lot of the nights Cleveland goes out there and battles. And so the ability to have Garland plus Mitchell and Mobley and Jared Allen, we talked about this, be able to play together. And this guy, Ty Jerome, who's really been cast about at different teams, be a huge difference maker. It's the fact that all of these players have individually gone to other levels under Atkinson. He's gotten the best out of all of them. And he obviously runs a very complicated and very successful offensive scheme. Second best shooting team in the NBA in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage. Best scoring team in the NBA. So not only does he make these guys better, he knows how to make those pieces work perfectly.
Right, and that is why, people know him as the coach who does a really good job at developing talent. I don't know about the Nets, but, they let him go. And listen, Kenny Atkinson is thriving right now. For the Heat, we talked about it before, Bill. This Heat team is incredibly well coached, right? They're going to give you your maximum effort. Is there somebody on this team who you're expecting to step up in game 2 to give the Cavaliers a little bit more of a challenge down the stretch?
The problem is there's a talent deficit here, and this was true the minute that Jimmy Butler went away. The actual, I think, answer to the question isn't somebody on the floor, it's Eric Spoelstra. He's just going to have to find a way to schematically get into the tape, and this is a reality of playoff basketball. Maybe it's not advantage Miami, but it's something positive they can look forward to try to maybe get a game and put some respectability on their name against this Cavs team, who maybe not the best, but one of the 2 best teams in the NBA. In the postseason, you get more time to practice, you get time to look at the tape, and every GM and coach will tell you coaching excellence and the ability to come up with a game plan, it's significantly more impactful this time of year than when you're bopping around the country playing in the regular season. All of that said, it's got to be Tyler Hero or it's got to be Bam Adebayo. I mean, those are the 2 guys who have to step up and get it done. They had fine nights, right, but this is a Heat team that's bottom 10th, bottom 3rd in the NBA offensively. They don't have enough scores. Culture's great, coaching's great, history's great. The Heat have all those things, but you got to have talent. And I know I'm not supposed to bring up the Jimmy Butler name. I know my friends who work in that Heat organization get frustrated when that's the past. It may be, but that's why the past